Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. This is CA Madhvi Kaushik from Bhopal. I am a practicing chartered accountant. Today, we are having our session with our eminent speaker, CA Sandeep Ramankutti sir. The topic for today is the global outsourcing landscape, opportunities for Indian CA professionals in UK and beyond. Before starting the session, I would like to give a brief introduction of our speaker, CA Ramankutti sir. Sir is experienced chartered accountant with over 14 years of experience in industries ranging from electronics, FMCG, food ingredients, export import, freight forwarding, construction, retail trade and e-commerce business. He has handled multiple M&A transactions of the due diligence, transaction structuring, shareholders agreement, business transfer agreements and tax structuring. He has also undertaken numerous ERP implementation based on the client's requirements and excellent rapport with multiple EPR vendors. Additionally, certified as a company secretary, he and also certified on the advanced diploma in management accounting from SEMA, England. He is additionally certified as certified CSR professional from ICAI, proficient in more than four languages and experienced in handling clients across the different geographics. Core strength His core strength is setup of accounting system, ERPs, and SOPs for autopilot business operations. Finance professionals with expertise in financial reporting, tax compliances, and audit procedures. He has adept at managing budgets, conducting financial analysis, and ensuring regulatory adherence. Strong communication skills and ability to collaborate with cross-functional teams to drive financial strengthening strategy is his strength. Sir, I would now request you to start your session.
Thank you, CM Madhavi Kaushik. Uh, and thank you, the ICI committee, for giving me this opportunity. A very good morning to all the participants. As is being introduced, our session is on the global outsourcing landscape and the opportunities for Indian professionals in the UK and beyond. So this presentation will be more towards the UK market and what all opportunities are there in the UK, how the Indian professionals, especially chartered accountants, can leverage those opportunities, and what are the challenges and what all compliances and guidelines that needs to be followed by the fellow professionals in pursuing those opportunities. So let me just share my screen. So is it visible? The screen is visible? Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
So, so as said, we will be focusing more towards the UK market and the UK opportunities. So, let's just initially, I'll just brief about the outsourcing arena. The outsourcing as a concept, or the term outsourcing came in the, or it became more prevalent in the early 90s as this globalization and liberalization started off, and more of the European and American and Western countries started sharing certain of their tasks that has been done by their own people, were entrusted to the Indian entities, Indian professionals and people along with South Asian countries. So the primary motto of doing this exercise was to reduce the cost of their people. Like the HR cost in those countries is considerably higher compared to the Asian countries. So that was a primary impetus of outsourcing the task. So in the initial years, this outsourcing platform, whatever was being handled, contained more of a to be specific mundane tasks, or something like which were not giving much value, or which were considered as non-value additional, or which is a secondary to the primary activities being done, were entrusted to the other countries considering the cost savings. But over a period of time, this particular outsourcing exercise became more and more important, and it improvised, or rather, the people who handle the outsourcing exercises in India and other countries improvised very much to bring it to such a level that the outsourcing became a core process in every organization. If you can see any global conglomerate or a Fortune 500 company, most of them, more than 99% of those entities will have an outsourced wing in any countries like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, or Philippines, like that, Myanmar, like that. So outsourcing has become a pivotal part of every organization. We were discussing about the outsourcing of multi corporate companies. They do the outsourcing as a significant part of their day-to-day operations. Apart from that, there are a lot of entities in across the world, particularly considering the UK market today. Uh, there are a lot of SME entities in the UK, like MSME we have in India. UK has also got a SME market. Sorry. So these SME companies or these SME entities require a lot of financial statements related preparations, compliances. It is similar to Indian accounting practices or the compliances that we follow in India, but as every country has got a different regulation, like UK has got a HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, and like India, we have Income Tax Act and Customs Act and GST likewise. But it has been evolved. There is an evolution factor of in the taxation part, considering India and the UK. So maybe it could have been because UK was in India, they ruled India for years, quite a years back. So some of the taxation aspects has been borrowed from the UK practice earlier, and later it has evolved into the Indian paradigm. Now, there is a remote nexus between the processes that we follow in India and the UK in terms of accounting, but not exactly the replica, but the fundamentals remains the same. So now, coming to the outsourcing, outsourcing is becoming more and more important. Now it has become a pivotal part of every organization, including a bigger corporate or a small entity. Small entities outsource even now in Indian practice, considering my our experience, we are handling a lot of bookkeeping exercises for small and medium entities. So this similar kind of uh, opportunity can be pursued in the UK also. So we will just go through the all these factors with relation to the UK market. So this will be the contents for this today's discussion. So I just explained about outsourcing. So outsourcing, it was being a parallel process which became a pivotal process now. That is the nutshell of outsourcing. Now, what are the opportunities for the finance professionals in the outsourcing market? We'll just go through that. So this is the outsourcing I already, as I already explained. Now it has become a core strategic process because the day I'll add a little more point to that. Now, this digital data, most of the data in the accounting and all this financial reporting is maintained in digital form across all the countries, and data security and all the data integrity related rules are very much strengthened across all the countries in the world. So, this data protection is a very important factor, which comes with a considerable cost. So, many countries across Europe are having a very stringent data protection act, data protection related regulations, and considerable penalties for the violations. So ensuring the data protection and the servers in the respective countries, the data related protocols have a very significant cost, and adding to that, the payroll cost of those countries will add more cost to them, which triggers those countries to outsource certain part of the task to countries like in India. Especially when it comes to accounting profession, that financial data is very much significant and important, and any vulnerability in that causes significant damage to the economy. So there is an ample level of opportunity for Indian accounting professionals in taking up of these kind of accounting outsourcing into India, and also certain data related, IT related services can also be provided. That will come in the later slides. So now, so from a back office, outsourcing has evolved into a mainstream engine of an organization, be it a bigger organization or a smaller organization. So that's just I just briefed about the outsourcing. Now, let's go through the factors or the yeah. So basically, an outsourcing enables a firm to stay agile and competent with the core competency factors. So what happens in an outsourcing exercise is basically like, suppose if an Indian accounting firm outsources a UK entity's payroll processing, so that process is completely done from an Indian entity or Indian accounting firm. They will be able to develop certain SOPs, they develop certain capabilities which will be done consistently and which will be done in a certain level of investment in technology capacity and the resources that adds value to the client, that adds value to the UK entity in such a way that they will not be required to get exposed for any surprises in terms of quality. So, as professionals, ICAI, we members will have adherence to the quality controls in exercises, be it an audit or be it whatever exercise we do. We have certain quality control protocols, and now this peer review and this audit quality maturity model, everything has come up. And if a peer reviewed firm is there, that will be very much competent enough to take care of these kind of exercises. So this adds value to the capacity, and the finance team itself can be extended to another country. So let's take a UK entity. If that is being some part of the accounting process of that entity is being taken care of by an Indian firm, which is a peer reviewed firm or a AQMM developed computer compliant firm, uh, it can be considered as a part of the finance of that entity. Then now we have the cloud-based accounting system. So most of the UK entities, they work with zero QuickBooks kind of ERPs. So these ERPs are seamlessly available if you have a very good network connectivity, and this can be accessed, and we ourselves are doing in India, a lot of firms are taking care of QuickBooks accounting, zero XER, zero accounting. So these things, now cloud based accounting and AI accounting automations are there. So that gives more and more opportunities, or that gives more and more room for taking much more higher portfolios. Apart from just bookkeeping, we can do more and more value added services through these cloud based platforms. Now, we'll just go through the outsourcing market for finance professionals. Yeah. So, as we have discussed, like all the Fortune 500 firms, 90% of them are outsourcing certain finance functions to Indian companies. So maybe we will. There are a lot of global service centers of many consulting accounting firms which work in India and which are kind of doing the quality documentation and accounting services for the global firms. Now, the much to add to the advantage of outsourcing, UK is completely an English country, and UK, when it comes to UK, it will be UK, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So these three countries have a very good acceptance of the English language, and we Indians are also very much competent in English. So it is the language is not a barrier in taking care of this outsourcing, because when it goes to other European countries, if we go to Germany, the financial reporting is mostly in German language. So that language proficiency is a constraint and rather a challenge. And if you go to Spain, it is a Spanish. Likewise, Swedish. A lot of languages are prevalent in other countries in the Europe. So, and there are mandatory regulations in those countries that the financial reporting should be done in their respective languages. So that constraint is not applicable for a UK market. Now, outsourcing market of India has grown from 10 to 12. from $10 billion to around 15 to $18 billion. So more and more outsourcing is being done in India, and of late, this outsourcing as a term has itself evolved from doing some kind of a back office job to a core competency. So many professionals let me just put my personal experience. Many professionals in my forum, I mean, over the few years, were having a view that this outsourcing pertains to some kind of a back office job, or you are doing something that is not value added, or you are doing something like a it looks like a non-value added exercise. But that kind of perspective has changed a lot in these days. Now, outsourcing has become a very core competence because a few firms, in our knowledge, are doing the in and out finance process of certain entities abroad. So they will be the that entity in the UK or any other some other country. They might be doing their strategic decision making process as such, but the entire accounting, R2R accounting, is being done from India. So that level of competence has been achieved by Indian professionals, and the perspective towards this outsourced marketing things have changed, and more people are coming to do the accounting services, accounting and finance services in outsourcing. Now we'll take the global market size. Uh, so this is going to be a $60 billion market with a 9.3 percentage compounded annual growth rate, and ICAI is having 5,000 plus qualified professionals every year. So the pool of chartered accountants are coming up, and again, the accountants in the global market, in the client place, or rather in the UK, there are a lot of shortages of qualified accountants, as reported by many UK news bulletins, UK finance magazines, and journals. There are a lot of shortages in the UK and in the Euro, across the Europe. There are a lot of shortages in the qualified accountants, and retaining their skills with the training is also a very big challenge to those entities in the UK. Just to take an example, UK has exited from the European Union, so we call it Brexit. So post Brexit, UK has got a separate set of rules and regulations for the financial reporting, for the taxation, for the regulations, things like that. So there needs to be additional certifications for UK based entities to do any service in other European countries. Suppose an entity in UK, an accounting firm in UK, if it wants to do some service to another entity in Spain or Germany, they have to get certified in that particular country's regulations according to the European Union's regulations. So this adds cost to the training of the accountants, the training of the professionals in the UK. And henceforth, the UK accounting firms themselves have started outsourcing their other European client businesses to countries like India, Philippines, etc. Now, out of this outsourced market, India accounts to almost 50% of that. And the cost saving, that is one added value that primarily these clients in the UK look for. So they face around, considering the infrastructure cost for accommodating their employees, considering the training cost for their employees, considering the upskilling of those employees. Uh, these costs can be shared to, if it is being outsourced to India or any other country. This will save a lot of cost to those entities by 40 to 60 percentage. And as we said earlier, like most of the big four and global consulting firms have got a lot of offices across India, where this accounting practice is being outsourced and handled. Now, what all capabilities, what are the scope of services that are being considered by Indian firms in terms of an outsourcing? We'll just go through each one of them. So, one of the kind of process that's being outsourced is order to cash. So, that basically includes the procurement process. That comes the receivable process. A UK entity they will be doing some kind of a marketing exercise. They will bag some customers. So once a customer is signed up, now the entire sales process will be outsourced to an entity in India. They will take care of the sales orders, the invoicing, the delivery of the goods, the dispatch of the goods is being tracked from India. Then after that is being delivered, the receivables management will be done by India, and the aging of the receivables and the follow-up, customer follow-ups will be done. So this entire order to cash process is being done from India for many entities across the world, and that constitutes around 25 to 30% of the global outsourcing of in the perspective. Now, the other process is procure to pay. That is the direct opposite, which is, contains to purchase process, like uh, placing up a purchase order, ensuring the transit of the goods or services or whatever it is, then billing the client, getting the invoices, invoice management, approval for payment. The GRN has to be confirmed with the invoice. GRN has to be confirmed with the PO. That process will be done from an outsourced entity, and which will further give the approval for payment. And once the payment is approved by the remote team, that will be handled by the parent company, the payment process. So the entire accounts payable process is also being factored from India. The third one is record reporting. That is a purely financial reporting process. That accounts to that will be the more relevant or the more core activity or service that can be delivered by chartered accountants in the UK. Record to reporting contains the end-to-end financial reporting that includes accounting the day-to-day transactions in the operational level. Starting from there, it goes to preparation of the financial statements that could include monthly financials, quarterly financials, MIS reports, directors, management reports that needs to be given for decision making. So there are timelines fixed by many entities where the decision making needs to be done by T+5. Like if you close a month in the fifth day of the next month, the MIS needs to be presented to the director board for the decision making. So R2R is a very dynamic, challenging, and also very lucrative part of the global accounting outsourcing. Source to pay is a much more derived or an evolved version of procure to pay. Source to pay basically comes like uh, procure to pay handle is being done just for the purchase process. Source to pay, this outsourced firm identifies the supplier also. Apart from purchasing, the supplier is being identified. Negotiation with the supplier is being done by the outsourced firm. The agreements with the supplier is being done by the outsourced firm, and the confidentiality agreements or whatever is being entered and or signed off by this accounting or outsourced firm. Then the purchase process follows. So existing procure to pay process plus a strategic identification of the vendor plus the vendor documentation is a source to pay process. And apart from all these, there are other value-added services being provided in terms of transaction advisory, due diligences, MIS reports, virtual CFO services. That is becoming more and more common these days. Like there are a lot of remote CFO services being provided by Indian firms for many entities. So basically, the account in the accounting spectrum, these we can classify the services that can be delivered into these five different categories. And we'll just go through the opportunities in the UK market. So we'll just see the market size of UK. So UK is importing around 17.2 billion pounds worth of services from India. That includes all the services. So, and most of them are other services. Other business services includes business auxiliary services and these kind of outsourced accounting services, payroll services, HR consulting services, marketing services, things like that. And for UK, India is the fourth largest service provider. So that is the biggest advantage that we can make use of, we as a professionals can make use of, because one of the biggest contributors to being the fourth largest service provider in the UK is because this language proficiency with UK and Indian professionals. Now, UK firms, as we have already mentioned in the introduction, most of the UK firms have outsourced their exercises, their tasks to many countries, including India. This was because of the reason, one of the reason was the Brexit, and to retain the talents to maintain their competency in accordance with the uh, different country rules in the European Union. So, considering that cost and infrastructure for retaining employees, these processes have been outsourced from the UK firms to India. That is a very this is the latest survey by one of the finance bulletins in the UK. Many of the UK firms are outsourcing their processes to India. Now, considering that. This accounting bodies, our Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, have already there has been already an MOU between these two bodies. Now it has been amended further pursuant to the UK India FTA, Free Trade Agreement. So there the opportunities to get into the practice arena of UK has become a little more easier, considering the members age into the practice, that we'll explain later. So okay, now this accounting process is being outsourced, as we have already mentioned. This 98% of the UK accounting comes from SME entities. So SME, just like in India, MSMEs, UK has also got a lot of classifications for SMEs. We'll come to those slides later. Yeah. So these are the common tasks being outsourced by UK accounting firms to India. One is the general ledger and transaction management that comes under the R2R. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, that like we discussed in the previous slide on the order to sale and procure to pay and source to pay. So these things are mostly done from outsourced countries, and financial statement preparation, that is a very lucrative and that is a very more relevant towards the accounting professions. Accounting firms can very much consider this as an opportunity, like a financial statement preparation, because UK has in the April 2025, UK government has made some changes in the SME regulations, wherein the certain SMEs have to uh, kind of do certain compliances, which adds to the cost of compliance of those entities, which very well can be handled by Indian professionals. That is very much an ICAI capability that mostly pertains to the financial statements, filing of certain returns, VAT. Apart from VAT returns, certain other returns can be done from India. We can use the technology softwares like that. So financial statement preparation could be a very lucrative and relevant arena for the chartered accountants. Yeah. Now, these are certain, apart from UK, there are certain other agreements being done by ICAI with a lot of accounting bodies. So one is ICAEW, that is with the UK, then Canada, CPA Canada, then CPA CA New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Malaysia, South Africa. These are the major agreements between ICA and these professional bodies, wherein there are mutual agreements subject to certain conditions. We can very well take up the membership of those countries and get onto the practice. But there are, of course, restrictions in doing the attest functions. For doing the attestation functions, there are much more conditions attached to that. But apart from that, non-attestation functions can be very well handled once we get onto this. So, not only with the UK, we can pursue a lot of opportunities with multiple countries across the world. Anyway, we'll just restrict our discussion to the UK for today. So this is just an explanation of what all are the conditions and how the membership with other accounting bodies in the world in different countries can be availed. Uh, we can just share this presentation if needed. Maybe if you can, I'll share the presentation with the moderator. Maybe you can just, all of you can just go through that. Now let's see the opportunities with this. Okay. So now digital adoption. UK firms, as we have agreed, 98% of the UK firms are outsourcing the accounting process, and most of the accounting exercise is being done through digital means. And there is a Okay, and there is a very much impetus given by the UK government, including the taxation. There is a make taxation digital. There is some regulation or some protocol being followed by the UK that the tax structure and the tax regulations, tax related entire process needs to be completely digital. So they put a term for that that is called making tax digital. MTD. So all the taxation, filing, the regulations, the scrutiny, everything happens digital in the UK, and they have completely done away with the physical means of doing that. So since it has become digital, obviously these processes can be outsourced. So that is a very high value adding exercise. So let's take the VAT compliance in the UK. In UK, if a firm has got a turnover exceeding 90,000 pounds, they have to get themselves registered under the VAT regulations. And the VAT varies from 5% to 20% across different types of, just like in India, it has got from starting from 5 to 20. Generally, it is 5 and 20. Now, so these filings have to be done on a periodic basis as instructed by the HMRC. Now, this thing, if since the government of UK have deliberated more towards making tax digital, this exercise can be very much handled through outsourced means. And considering the cost of compliance and the cost of maintaining the people, tax filing, UK VAT filing can very well be handled by Indian chartered accountants. Now, we are already doing a lot of VAT compliance and VAT filing for the UAE. UAE VAT is completely, most of the UAE VAT is being handled from India or Indian firms or Indian chartered accountants who are settled in the UAE. Likewise, UK VAT handling can also be pursued as a very good opportunity. As said, like the global companies, Fortune 500 companies, they already have a center in India taking care of all these taxation and other payroll related processes. Now, likewise, we have discussed more than 5,000 chartered accountants are getting qualified in every exam. The pool size of chartered accountants are increasing. So, developing a team to take care of all these accounting functions or outsourcing these exercises can be done since we have the capability of resources. Now, what all when we are pursuing this UK accounting as a career, or we are pursuing this UK accounting services as a profession, or building that capability into our firm, there are certain challenges that we need to address. These are not particularly challenges, but we need to be aware of these factors uh, when going through that. So now we'll just go back. So one of the challenges faced by the UK entities, UK business firms, that they are not able to recruit adequate or competent people, and most of their recruitments are having a failure rate of 34%. So one third of the people who are being recruited in the UK doesn't fit the purpose, doesn't fill the role properly, and there is an opportunity for Indian firms by one by three. So so the recruitment failure happens with a lot of cost. Like they do have a training cost, they do have an infrastructure cost, and there is a 34 percentage failure rate that actually adds to a lot of non-value added cost being accumulated into the business financials. So these costs are likely to be diverted through to an outsourced entity, whereby they can the entities in the UK can basically save those irrelevant costs. Now, upskilling, as we have discussed earlier, like upskilling is a very critical factor in the UK. An entity in UK or an accounting firm in UK, particularly, will have a lot of clients across UK and also across the Europe. So now, considering the European Union's different set of regulations and country-wise regulations for different countries in the European Union, apart from the UK, every employee needs to be trained accordingly, and that itself causes a lot of cost for training. For Germany, there is a different set of training to be given. For Belgium, there is a different set of training to be given. For Sweden, there is a different set of training to be given. The financial reporting standards have different certain differences in different countries. The language translation is a very big hurdle. A lot of things. So this upskilling of the people are very much adding to the cost. Now, uh, again, now fintech and this AI has that is across the globe, but that has posed a lot of accountants from being into the traditional accounting job. Many accountants have moved to the fintech platforms, going to make their own startups. So there is a lot of attrition in the accountants in the UK. Like the people who are professionally qualified as accountants does not stick to a job or does not stick to an accounting firm for a considerable period of time. So that attrition is also adding to the complexity of being tasks not getting completed in time. So these all things are making way for them to think of outsourcing these tasks to other countries. Yeah, just we discussed the Brexit part and MTD. MTD is making tax digital. So now this so making tax digital is a very good opportunity, very uh, better way that we can handle things sitting in India, and we can handle the taxation part of the UK. Uh, uh, apart from accounting, taxation can also be pursued very much. So we might need to get onto some training into the UK taxation uh, that will add very much value to do these kind of engagements with the UK firms. Now, in the UK, these are the top accounting outsourced tasks, like preparing monthly reporting, like as we have said, like this MIS reports and maintaining the books and preparing the financial statements, unaudited financial statements for the period. This is a monthly exercise which can be considered as a retainer engagement. Ledger maintenance. There are certain high volume ledgers itself being maintained by outsourced firms. Uh, just like certain firms entrust the entire receivable management, receivable process, customer ledgers to be maintained. That itself is a considering the volume. That itself will be a very uh, handful of a job to be done in terms of an accounting and VAT returns and HMRC filings. These are also being entrusted to Indian firms of late. Then data transaction processing. Again, like the data needs to be converted into the reportable financial statements, that data transaction processing. Uh, all of us might be knowing the big data. Big data, that is an addition, or that is latest or of late. The big data has come up with a significant impetus into the decision making process. Now, big data is being converted into data analytics. Data analytics is converted into AI learning, and after that, that particular data is being continuously evolved into making more and more meaningful data for the AI to be competent enough. So, data processing and data handling itself has become very much important. Uh, and considering the big data, this is more sensitive, and this is more value added asset nowadays. So once we convert the data into financial statement, the job is not done in itself. We have to maintain that data. We have to secure that data. That is a very strict and very sensitive matter to be handled by all the countries in the world. Like, so if we are outsourcing some data processing, or if we are outsourcing some accounting process of an entity in the UK or any country across the world, the data that we take care needs to be perfectly handled, needs to be perfectly managed, needs to be sensibly accounted, needs to be secured with a lot of regulatory compliances. So that data processing itself can be taken up as an outsourced opportunity. Of course, payroll processing are being done already by a lot of accounting firms. This still continues. Can considering the cloud-based accounting and cloud-based ERP systems, it can be done very effectively nowadays. Now we'll just go to the, the financial reporting guidelines in UK as we have discussed. So now UK financial reporting, generally we'll just classify the UK entities into four different groups. One are micro entities, one is small entities, one is medium, and the rest goes to the listed companies and public entities. So as we said, likewise in India, the same happens across the world. So in UK also we have the similar kind of classification. So micro entities are basically governed by the Financial Reporting Standards 105. So this is a very lucrative and very good opportunity for chartered accountants or accounting professionals, because micro entities fall within the category of entities whose turnover does not exceed $10 million, 10 million GBP, and the assets does not exceed uh, f- half a million GBP, and they do not exceed 10 employees. So if all these conditions are satisfied, this entity falls under a micro entity. So for a micro entity, the FRS 105, it basically asks to prepare a balance sheet, and that needs to be filed with the company house. There's no need to file the P&L account. But of late, there is the UK government has come up with some amendment that P&L account also needs to be updated. But until recently, only the balance sheet needs to be filed with the company house, and there's no need to do much accounting standards compliance in terms of deferred tax, share-based payments. These kind of standards are not required for a micro entity. Now, the micro entities, so basically the micro entities, the opportunities comes in such a way that we can do the financial statements preparation in accordance with the UK standards. And we can very well do the company house filing also, because these things needs to be self-certified by the directors. There is no need for an audit. The audit is not at all mandatory for a micro entity in the UK. Uh, and coming to small entities, small companies, that is governed by FRS 102. Small entities, the turnover threshold is a little bit increased, which if it does not exceed, should not exceed 15 million pounds. The assets should not exceed 7.5 million pounds, and the employees should not exceed 50 people. So again, here also it is just an extended version of the micro entities. Here the financial statements needs to be prepared along with the P&L needs to be filed with the company's house. Here, the companies are generally exempted from getting the financial statement audited by an auditor, but certain entities are required to mandatorily get the accounts. So these are generally exempt, but specifically certain entities or certain industries needs to get their accounts audited. So that is a here also the opportunities for a chartered accountant or an accounting professional from India can be in such a way that we can take care of the operational accounting part, we can do the financial statement preparation part. Up to that point, we can do. If at all an audit is mandated, that has to be done by a practicing accountant in the UK. Now, medium entities, it is a step ahead of that. Medium entities basically is classified as turnover should not exceed 54 million pounds, and the assets should not exceed 27 million pounds, and should not exceed 250 employees. Here, the financial statements are governed by FRS 102 again, but uh, in the auditing paradigm, it is a direct opposite of small entities. Like here, most of the companies are required to get their accounts audited, except specifically exempted. So it's just the opposite of small entities in terms of audit. The small entities, audit is generally exempted unless specifically mandated. In the medium entities, it is a direct opposite. They are required to get their accounts audited, but except specifically exempted, they are not required to do that. Now, any entity going beyond this falls under a large company or a large organization. For those entities also the opportunities still exist in terms of payroll processing. So any entity, if its a number of employees exceed 250, it goes out of the medium sector and it goes to public or the larger scale of entities. So the payroll processing itself can be taken up as an opportunity. There will be a lot of, again, the bookkeeping and accounting can be handled by a team of accountants or a team of professionals sitting in India. So these are the organization structures in the UK. Give me a moment, please. Yeah. Okay. Now, as we have, I've already explained, in the year 2025, UK government has come up with a lot of mandates with relation to financial statement compliances, compliance with tax. So, making tax digital, that is a very, very significant movement by the UK government. So, the entire tax process has been made digital. So the tax filing is digital now. The tax communications, every tax related matters are being handled digitally. And so that itself gives a lot of opportunity for us to take care of this. So the paper documents in terms of taxation is completely going to get done away in the UK. So it is completely coming under MTD and including the income tax. Income tax is also completely governed digitally. And likewise, in India, we have the faceless assessment, things like that, that is being done in the UK also of late. So we can very well, if the MOU between two professional bodies permits, we can take care of tax representations if possible. But it is not completely sure. We have to check the legalities of that. The FRS 102 that we have discussed for the small and the medium entities, the revenue recognition and lease related accounting standards are mandated recently. That needs to be so. Micro entities, as we discussed, doesn't have much of compliance towards the accounting standards. Medium and small entities have a little more disclosures required to be given in terms of accounting standards. And now this accounting on lease and revenue recognition needs to be particularly disclosed in those financial reporting statements. Now, threshold has changed. So whatever threshold that we have discussed in the previous slide, like that up to 10 million for a micro entity, up to 15 million turnover for a small entity, and up to 54 million for a medium entity. These thresholds have been fixed in the month of April 2025. So before that, the threshold was a little bit lower. So now that has become a little more higher. So now until 10 million pounds turnover, an entity has a 10 million, below 10 million pound turnover, this entity falls under a micro entity. So number of entities in the UK that falls under this micro category will be higher compared to the earlier regulations. So these micro entities doesn't have much to do with the financial reporting in terms of additional compliances, additional disclosures, additional accounting standards, and audit. All these things are done away for an entity which contains a turnover of less than 10 million pounds, which contains an asset base of half a million pounds, and which contains less than 10 employees. So the number of entities falling under the micro category have increased. The number of entities that falls under the small category has increased. So these entities, since their statutory compliances in terms of financial reporting have been reduced significantly, their requirement to stick on to a standalone accountant or a captive accountant in their own organizations will not be of much relevance these days. So definitely the decision makers of those entities might be thinking to replace the high cost accountant to an outsourced accountant. Like an average cost of an accountant in the UK comes to around 50,000 pounds in a year, considering their social security, their salaries, their infrastructure being provided to them, the training provided to them. All these cost to 50,000 pounds per annum for a single employee, for a single accountant. So when these thresholds are relaxed to a certain extent, these entities might quite think about uh, outsourcing these processes to any country, particularly India. So there are ample opportunities considering the regulatory changes now, and also in terms of compliance. If the FR is now the relaxation has been given in terms of turnover, in terms of assets, and in terms of employees, and the audit has been taken away for certain entities below 10 million turnover. Uh, the compliance has gone up significantly. Like they have to mandatorily file the financial statements with the company's house. Earlier, for the micro entities, it was only the balance sheet that was required to be filed. Now, it is being proposed to include P&L account also with the company to be filed with the company's house. Now, if that is not being done, or if that is not being filed in a timely basis, the penalty is going to be £100 per day kind of penalty, and along with additional fines now. So, likewise, of late, India in our MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, is also considering a lot of relaxation. We have decriminalized a lot of company non-compliances, but the significant non-compliance into filing process will add to the cost of additional fee. Like if we fail to file AOC 4 and MGT 7A, the additional fee is going to be 100 per day. Likewise, the compliance cost has increased significantly in the UK pursuant to this relaxation in the accounting threshold. So that compliance of annual filings and all these documents related, preparing of all those documents related to filings of these financial statements and the related disclosures and boards report, all these things can be handled very much by an Indian accounting firm, because that is very much a capability we have in ourselves. Because considering the complexity of the Indian taxation, considering the complexity of the Indian financial statements, the UK financial statement reporting and taxation filings are comparatively better, easier to do. It doesn't mean that it is quite easy, but there are a lot of easier ways to handle these filings. Now, coming to the outsourcing, as we have discussed, we are handling the data of another country, another people of another country, entities of another country. So definitely the data security, the data protection, and all the information technology related regulations will come into play. So uh, when we are, although there are a lot of opportunities that have come up, although there are a lot of lucrative portfolios in the accounting profession itself to be outsourced and being done from India. We need to be aware about what all guidelines that needs to be kept in mind, what all capabilities that needs to be invested in an Indian entity, which outsources the work from the UK. So we'll just go through the guidelines of data security. So one of the biggest measure, because the regulation that has been done by the UK is the General Data Protection Regulation and on the data. So this regulation has been mandated by the UK government, wherein the data that is being transmitted through any device needs to follow certain protocols, and that needs to be having certain characteristics. So one of them is privacy that we know, and that is very much uh, I mean, mandated by any country. Any country's Information Technology Act ensures data protection. And GDPR also mandates minimal data. So minimal data means whatever is required, it should only be shared. Suppose if a person's particular data relating to taxation is being shared to India, whatever is relevant for the filing of taxation of that particular person need only to be shared, and any excess data or any unwanted data being shared causes a violation under GDPR. Again, the data being shared needs to be accurate, and the storage limitation is also being strictly mandated. Like the storage needs to be adequately protected. So the server location needs to be disclosed to the regulatory bodies, and the particular regulation with regard to the server needs to be clearly mandated. And there, most of the entities that are going to get accounting work, accounting outsourcing getting done from the UK, it is better suggested to get into an agreement under the GDPR guidelines and ensure all the compliance in terms of an agreement, and that needs to be understood mutually, and that will be the very core of the entire accounting process. So this maintaining the tax digital rules and GDPR rules, everything goes to one particular point that the data, whatever is being shared, needs to be protected at all cost. So now this data protection compliance as GDPR principles is very much stringent in the UK. So if we are planning for an accounting outsourcing engagement with the UK, these rules needs to be very much read, understood, and complied. And this is a legally binding character thing being mandated by the government. So as suggested, we need to have a data processing agreement with the client. Now, cross-border transfer safeguards. That is also another, whatever is being transferred, whatever data is being transferred across the border needs to be safeguarded. And so the server, the location of the server in which where the data is being saved, all these things needs to be disclosed adequately to the client and the regulatory bodies as mandated. Then that is information security controls is that is also very much important thing. That is also part of every country's Information Technology Act. So there's encryption of the data, secure cloud hosting. So all these, since we are into the accounting services industry, now we have a lot of cloud-based ERPs, cloud-based accounting, automated accounting softwares are there. So since this is getting hosted through a cloud, the cloud should be secured enough to take care of all these exercises. Now the access control, audit trail, and all audit logs needs to be there. Like that, we currently also have because India now the Companies Act in India has also mandated the audit trail for companies that needs to be specifically mentioned in the audit report. So audit trail is a very important thing. So when we are outsourcing certain exercises from a country from an entity in the UK, the audit trail, audit log, everything needs to be accurately captured and documented in the server or in the software or whatever mechanism that we are doing. So if at all a scrutiny or if at all a regulatory action comes in place, since it is being done from another country, the entire audit log and access controls, all these things forms part of the security protocol. Now, if at all we are doing an outsourcing exercise of a UK entity, the employees of our firms or the accounting firm that is getting a UK client being outsourced, we need to train our employees according to the GDPR and cybersecurity programs or the cybersecurity regulations. So, training on the Information Technology Act is very much important. Training on the GDPR of UK is very much important. So that we need to train ourselves and we need to train our people who are handling the exercises to be compliant with the UK regulations. Now, if there is any data breach, that incident response mechanism needs to be very much inbuilt into our system. So, our IT infrastructure should be competent enough to take care of any data surprises or any data compromise or any data vulnerability. So, we are gathering a very large pool of opportunity. We get a lot of opportunity from the UK in terms of taxation, in terms of accounting, considering the MTD of the UK government. We have ample opportunities, but at the same time, we should be equipped ourselves with a lot of IT infrastructure that needs to be compliant with the country regulations, with the regulations in India and also with the regulations of the UK. So the sensitivity of the data is very much important. So whoever is, so see, although the opportunities are very much lucrative, the investment in technology and the investment in security, IT security is of very much importance, and that should not be compromised, and that should be given a very serious consideration while considering for a opportunity outsourcing from UK. Now the data records also needs to be maintained because the UK, since they have mandated this making tax digital (MTD), that MTD regulations also ask for mandates one more thing, like all the tax related data, even though it is being held in a digital form needs to be preserved for 6 years. So that kind of server maintenance needs to be developed or needs to be maintained by us, because the 6 year data, if we have a client onboarded for some taxation service, that client's data for the next 6 years or the past 6 years should be in our server, and that needs to be presented to the regulatory bodies if at all asked. So if we are taking care of the taxation part of the, our servers should be capable enough to maintain the data for 6 years. Obviously, data privacy and data conduct and high risk related activities needs to be safely considered. That is a part of this again GDPR. As we have said, like the only minimal data needs to be given, and the integrity and confidentiality of the data needs to be very much ensured. The privacy of the data needs to be very much ensured. So, violation of this GDPR will give a serious consequence in terms of penalty and other regulatory actions. So the data, once again, is a very significant and very important thing that needs to be maintained, considering the outsourcing exercise. So this, in a nutshell, so as we discussed, outsourcing is becoming a very competent and very core activity in any organization. And considering the UK market, there are a lot of opportunities in that particular country, considering the Brexit and the cost of accountants being handled, being incurred by the entities. They are very much into looking for accounting services being rendered from abroad, rendered from India or any South Asian country. So, and considering India being the fourth largest service provider for the UK, and also leveraging the regulatory bodies, the professional bodies, MOUs, we have a very good standing in terms of taking care of the accounting services. And there are a lot of financial statement preparation, or auditor sales, procure to pay, a lot of payroll processing, a lot of things are there for us to take care of in terms of a UK accounting. Uh, and since the UK government in 2025 April, they have reclassified their entities small, medium, micro classification. The number of entities for whom the audit mandates and the financial statement filing mandates have been relaxed on one side. On the other side, the compliance regulations have made more stringent. So that gives a very ample opportunity for accountants to Indian accountants to take care of those exercises, and that can be considered as a very good career opportunity. So, and the taxation, making tax digital was also a very good initiative taken by the UK government. That's MTD has also given a very ample opportunity for ourselves to take care of the tax filing exercises also. Now, considering all these factors, all these opportunities, we have to take care of the data related security related factors. We should be very much aware about the data breach. We should be very much serious about the data being handled by of the client, uh, because the country is different and the regulations are different. So our infrastructure should be considerably invested and considerably safeguarded to protect the data, to make the data available for 6 years. We have to take care of those data, and any data breach needs to be formally incident response needs to be given, and we should have a very solid data processing agreement. That is the first step to engage any client in the UK. This data processing agreement should be uh, signed and agreed upon at the first level itself, before starting off any engagement with the UK. So that basically concludes our discussion for today. uh, Maybe we can just go to the next level.
Thank you, sir. It was a very informative and elaborative session. You have covered and touched almost all the areas of outsourcing opportunities for a CA professional in UK and beyond. Uh, as our ICI curriculum is such that our CA in India is having all the prerequisite which is needed for better practice, but a sense somewhere they are having a sense of fear and non clarity on such subjects, where to go, where to approach for such opportunities. And you have given a very information, very much information on this. Still, I would request you to throw some light on some points, some queries which has been raised from participants, like a small firm in India who wants to go for such opportunities, where they should approach, and how they could go for that.
Okay. Okay. So let me put it another way. A small firm in India, they have started their practice in India. Where did they go for to get some clients in India? How did they start the practice in India? That's basically through networking. Right. So the same exercise needs to be done in terms of UK. So as the regulation, our professional body regulates a lot of factors in terms of advertising, promotions, things like that. We need to be compliant with those regulations. That is obviously need required. So if it's being asked like how do you approach a client in the UK, that's the first thing is to do a good networking. So there are a lot of events that's been happening now. The World Congress of Accountants is happening, and likewise there are a lot of accounting conferences, accounting uh, related for discussions are being done in many parts across the world. We it is the best thing to go participate in those events, get introduced to a lot of fellow professionals, and that is the first level of networking that needs to be done. Now, maybe if we can throw a visit to those countries, meet some industrial bodies, like if we have a FICCI in India, we have certain Chamber of Commerce kind of associations in India, we can meet those organizations in the UK. We can meet a lot of people. We can give some presentation also. We can uh, give some paper presentation, like now this tax MTD, making tax digital. We can give a presentation on that. Maybe online also we can give something. So we need to uh, exhibit ourselves to the clientele in the UK that we are competent enough. So whatever is a possible opportunity pursuant to the guidelines of the ICAI and the guidelines of the professional body in that particular country, we can very well do that. So networking is a basic factor of getting a opportunity in every country. So whatever is possible means of networking, we can go ahead with that.
Okay, sir. I have read somewhere there is a technical training requirement also for some hours in for practicing or giving professional services in UK. So for Indian CAs, is any such requirement, sir? Any additional technical qualification they have to take?
Okay, so the ICAI and ICAW has already signed a mandate. This has been done somewhere in 2018 or something. At that point of time, it was like to get the membership in ICAW, we need to qualify two papers, two exams needs to be given, and for an ICAW member to get into Indian membership, they need to do some four papers. But now there has been some changes considering the UK India FTA, Free Trade Agreement. There we need to be much more sure from the ICA itself. Basically, it is being said that if we have a continuous membership of 7 years in the ICAI, you can apply for an ICAEW membership subject to certain conditions. I think the exams have been done away with, but the attestation is not at all allowed until you get a license formally from that particular country. But the membership conditions have been relaxed. Maybe that we can go to that ICAI e-Sahayata or something. That will be more deliberated over there. The earlier conditions are relaxed to a certain extent now.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Another question is, sir, is HMRC is like a TDS or income tax?
That is Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. The income tax, customs, and the indirect taxes in the UK is governed by HMRC.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Uh, Sir, is there any website or portal from where such outsourcing requirement can be looked into?
Like you'll be able to see any requirement in. For outsourcing, there's a
for
particular portal.
outsourcing. Yes, yes.
I don't think there'll be something anything like that. Maybe we can go through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a good source for this.
I think networking will be more helpful in
Networking
this.
is the best. I mean, like that's the basic way for doing this. But nobody is going to post in a certain website. There will be like there are this certain jig related websites are there. There might be some people who might put a lot of assignments. You can bid for that, but uh, but not all are likely to be qualified to get into that.
Yes, sir. The first question comes into mind how to get the first client. It is very hard to get the first assignment. After that, networking and everything can be done, but it is very hard to get the first assignment. So the people are asking more about that, how to get our first client or first assignment. Therefore,
Same story. We are started practicing in India. How did we
yeah,
get the first client? We did
yeah,
a
same.
networking.
But
Same.
but somewhere our professionals are lacking how to go, how to approach being a cross border cross border assignments
uh,
somewhere. But you have thrown very an elaborative. You have given very elaborative information regarding the requirements and what precautions needs to be taken for such assignments, because that is the major factor where many professionals fail. I think they take the assignment without realizing how they have to how much they have to deliver, what will be the cost time management, and hence everybody is not successful. So their experience may be different, but you have thrown very good. You have given us a very good insight in that. So I thank you, sir. Secondly, what legal issues should be taken care of, or the arbitration after completing the assignment or during the completion of assignments can be taken.
arbitration in the sense, what is
I mean, if there any litigation afterwards or during the process between the deliverables, some problems our Indian CA firms are facing here. So, what measures can be taken and what precautions, which are the authorities to go for? Please guide me. Tata.
Yeah, that's as I explained in the presentation. Before entering into an exercise with a client, a prospective client, a detailed agreement needs to be put into place. So the entire deliverables, the scope of services being handled, the indemnity, the confidentiality, the breach of confidentiality, the compensation, whatever is being or whatever in an unlikely event that is likely to trigger, that needs to be completely put into this agreement, and this agreement needs to be signed off by both the parties. So the arbitration can be between, again, mutually discussed, maybe mutually agreed. Like if it can be put into a court in India, if the client agrees for that, that is well enough. If it is to be required to put it in the UK, that needs to be signed off. So that is between the uh, client and the professional. That needs to be discussed between them and based on the comfort of each person. So if suppose an engagement has a character as if the professional needs to visit UK quite often, then the whatever is the legality that comes up in such a situation can be handled by a court in England itself. But if it is completely remote, and if there are any, we are doing a complete remote service, this completely depends on the deliverables and the invoicing and the receiving of the professional fees. So, and the relation being maintained with the client. So, if at all anything happens, that can be raised as a litigation in India. So, apart from concentrating on litigation, we should delve more into the prospective and positive side of the agreement, and we should be wording it very amply that it doesn't give any room for any kind of litigation in the future.
Okay. Any insight on internal controls like SOX requirement in the US and internal type assignment type opportunities?
SOX in US, likewise, is there anything in the UK is being asked?
Yeah, yeah.
There is definitely some mechanism, but since we have focused more towards SME entities, I'm not gone through that completely. But considering SOX, some different this thing control, internal control related compliance rule is given in the UK.
So since your firm is also engaged in these assignments, so is there any particular requirement like firm size requirement while they are taking the assignment, or how they give us the opportunity for outsourcing?
See, there are two factors to this. One is that getting the first client is a networking result of a networking. Now, once we have a prospective client, they will definitely do an audit of our capabilities. Just like a vendor audit, they will do the audit of our firm's profile. They will do the a review of our team size, the competency of the team. So we need to give the profile of all our people. We need to, and apart from that, they will give more impetus towards the infrastructure that we have, like how we are handling the data. If we have a just like that, if we have a broadband, some clients will not be ready to share the data. We need to have an exclusive secured network to get the data from them. So IT infrastructure is quite a significant investment in securing outsourced engagements.
Okay. So another question is, our institute is running many certification programs for the development of our members, like certification courses in outsourcing in UK and US. Is ACCA qualification also helps in that getting the?
ACCA is the UK's home qualification. So if a person is ACCA qualified, I think getting a membership and attestation rights also is possible if they are in the UK. And ACCA and Indian CA, I think it's more relating to the taxation part is being having much differences. And Ind AS is also getting getting more and more compliant toward the IFRs. So the accounting process fundamentals remains the same. Only taxation related differences might be there. So ACCA is an added value. Maybe you can go for attest functions also.
Okay. Otherwise, also we can go for this outsourcing assignments and all.
Yeah, it would be better if we have a UK membership also. That ICAW membership will be better because any country will have its own patriotic feeling towards assigning something towards a professional. So if we represent ourselves as an ICAW member along with ICA, so that adds value. Again, in the previous question, it was asked like, how do you get a client?
Hmm.
This will be a good factor for adding a client.
Okay. Any software, sir? Any specific accounting software which we should be aware of while getting the assignments?
So most of the accounting is being done by QuickBooks, Zero. Uh, Now I think Zoho Books is also getting into the UK. Not sure, but it's getting entering into many countries. The UK is also being in the pipeline. So all the cloud-based accounting softwares which are having a very good server and data security can be used. And most of the cases, the client will be the first person to decide what ERP is being used. We cannot tell them that you have to use this. So that they will be having some ERP platform for an accounting service. And if that is being capable of delivered through a cloud basis, we can very well use us provided the data security, all the measures needs to be taken care of.
Okay.
Majority of the UK accounting happens through QuickBooks and Zero.
Okay. Are there any internal audit type opportunities also?
Internal auditing through digital means maybe, but there are limitations to that. Because if
Like
there is a
soft,
field visit, then definitely that cannot be done remotely.
if any professional is working in Luxembourg or US, what kind of opportunities he is having?
In the Luxembourg and
No, in UK.
UK, okay. That professional is a member of ICA or the UK entity.
Actually, he has not mentioned that, but he is currently working in Luxembourg, and
Hmm.
he is asking whether that scope what scope could I have in UK taxes?
Okay. UK taxation, if the membership is being if the person is able to get the membership in the UK, they can do the tax filing services, they can do accounting services, they can do payroll processing. All the outsourcing it need not be done from India. They can sit from anywhere and do that.
Sir, in short, all the participants are eager to know. You are working in both the scenarios in India and in UK also. So they are eager to. They want to know are there if they are similar or they have to equip themselves with some other qualifications or technical assistance or any kind of courses they have to undertake or go for some such additional qualifications. In short, they want to know that.
Yeah. See, additional qualification if you are keen to get into the UK market, if you are keen to get into the UK profession, it is always good that you get the ICAW membership along with the ICAI. So that is the first level of. In fact, I have not taken that, but that will be the best first merit that a prospective client is likely to see. And apart from that, in terms of additional qualifications, you should always be aware about the tax laws of that country, the latest amendments. As I mentioned, the tax laws are similar to Indian tax laws, but comparatively, certain parts of that are quite simple to do. Not that simple, but comparing the Indian complexity, it is not much complex. Uh, Again, the amendments needs to be added to, like this VAT has got some amendments recently. So the updation of yourself into the taxation angle of that that is very important to get onto this. So just to put a scenario, like ICA has initiated a certificate course on UAE corporate taxation. So if a lot of members are keen to get into the UK perspective, maybe we can have a certification at that angle that will add value. Again, just like Indian tax laws, we are getting updated on a day-to-day basis. If we are going to tax practice in that country, that needs to be the tax laws needs to be updated, and you should also be aware of the things happening in that country. Whatever is just like in the US, there are a lot of things going up nowadays. So likewise, if it's something is happening in the UK, will that affect the practice in any way? We need to be aware of that also.
Okay, sir. As you have said, different types of assignment like R2R and SP2R. So, are there any formats or reporting requirements? Are they available on any forum, on any website or like that?
Uh, you mean the financial statements reporting? That is
Financial,
governed by an accounting standard. FRS 102, 105 are there.
and that
And
is for balance sheet. And R2R or like those assignments. What are the reporting requirements or any format for that?
okay, see, the format is completely depending on the country's rule. So FRS 102, FRS 105. If you get into the company house website of the UK, and if we get the are able to access the public documents, you will get the format. Like we have a Schedule 3 in India, they have a format. So that is an external reporting format. So we are reporting the financial statements to the government. That needs to be presented in a particular format with the disclosures and director's report or whatever it is. That varies according to micro, small, and medium entities. R2R doesn't completely is not completely into the financial reporting. It could be internal reporting also. Many companies have they need their accounts to be closed on a monthly basis, and they will have their board meetings on the 5th or 10th of the succeeding month. They need to have certain numbers on the plate, like there are certain KPIs. That KPIs depends on the client, so that also forms part of the R2R.
Uh, so assignments like ERP consultancy, forensics, can it be taken in UK also?
ERP consulting we can do very well,
Okay.
provided we should be capable enough to know the
Uh,
technical part of the ERP. You asked about forensic.
Forensic.
Forensic, I'm not sure because there might be some country regulations in that.
So the reports which we submit, like R2R and another reports, if something happens to the organization there, so likewise a report can it be taken as a base for the actions taken by the firm there?
You mean something happens to that company because of this financial reporting, like any error that has happened
Yeah,
or something?
any error.
Yeah, that is, we have a liability, data liability. That is forming part of this GDPR.
Okay.
So whatever data is being done by, is being handled by ourselves, and if we give a false report or if we give an incorrect report, that will come back to the professional. That will be very much written in the agreement. Of course, the company will be facing the consequences of false reporting or whatever, but that indemnity clauses or the compensation clauses gets triggered.
No, on the other hand, I'm not asking about our misreporting or wrong reporting. I'm asking about any action taken on the basis of our report. Likewise, a report cannot be taken in forensic, which can be produced in a court that we report what we report. So, are there any consequences, and can the Indian firms be litigated on that also? Like two parties, if they are into some dispute, so if our client is taking any action to the counterpart, so that counterpart can whether they can also take us to the court or any kind of litigation also.
Okay, see, when it comes to outsourcing in terms of financial reporting, we are not certifying the financial statements. We are just preparing. So, if at all an audit is mandated in a particular entity, that needs to be audited and certified by an auditor in that country, UK itself. So, if the financial statements are proven to be wrong, the first hit will come to the auditor who certified that. But the auditor cannot deny that this has been done from some person in India. Definitely, that throwback will come to us. But until and unless we are not signing, but we should have a moral responsibility that this GDPR will take care of any kind of error from our side. So
Okay.
forensics, if it is going for a forensic audit or something like that, so they will ask the first question. They will ask who signed the audit report. So an accountant can be in India, an accountant can be in the UK. They
Hmm.
would have some done some mistakes. So forensic happens on a fraudulent angle. If you have done something deliberate, that is a forensic. So if that is being done by us, we will definitely have to face the consequence.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Sir, as you have stated in the starting of your presentation, that outsourcing exercise has been started in the 90s, and still it is many areas are still untapped. Uh, so looking at the political scenario, also somebody is asking, looking at the Trump's approach, whether outsourcing services in India will get hampered for that. Do you have any
Whether
opinion on that?
outsourcing service in India, I didn't hear.
Hampered or restricted? Looking at the Trump's approach in Indian, whether in near future outsourcing services in India will be hampered or restricted?
Why should it be hampered? Like it gives a more opportunities for the government also. Outsourcing adds more employment. Outsourcing adds more towards the tax revenue. Why should it get hampered?
No, if I think he wants to ask is will they put any restrictions on Indian firms? They want to go for the local firms.
See,
Maybe.
restrictions might happen in terms of this data security. If some country has given a data security guideline, which is not likely to be, done within India, that could be a restriction probably. And if there is some dispute between two countries, that might trigger some kind of a restriction, some sanctions being done against a country. This could probably do something. And if at all there are no other explicit restrictions between the free trade agreement between those two countries, this is not going to be hampered. So every most of the countries is being having a FTA with the other country. If that is specifically excluded and it says this particular service should not be done from this country, then that is a restriction. Otherwise, if there is a free trade agreement and if it is explicitly or generally provided like this, all the services can be done within the country regulations. We can always do.
So these questions that I can understand that before getting into any such assignment, we have a little bit of fear that what would happen in near future.
Sorry, madam, your voice is breaking. I'm not able to hear.
Hello, is it clear, sir?
Yeah, yeah, please.
I was telling you, looking at all these kinds of questions, they might be asking, they want to know, okay, before entering into any agreements, any such assignment. So, are there any litigation of future problems the Indian CS could foresee? So, they might be asking all these. They are asking all these questions. Uh, Sir, another question is SAP and Oracle also being used in UK?
Yeah, definitely. SAP and Oracle is also, but basically it's towards the larger scale of organizations. Now, smaller entities might not be using SAP and Oracle. SAP and Oracle are globally used in across the world. I mean, like all the entities. But this size of the entity, the number of people, the number of complexities actually adds to the SAP. And small entities are not generally going for these kind of ERPs.
There are no more questions. Your presentation was very good. Personally, it has thrown a brief introduction to all aspects. How should we go? How should we prepare ourselves to get such assignments? What precautions should be taken? And that GDPR and what kind of assignments are there? Basically, when we approach any foreign client or any firm before networking, there we most of the small firms don't have any idea how to go for it. They want to take any assignments, and they get the assignments without realizing what type of deliverables are there, so they get into a problem. Your presentation is very much informative, sir, and it has also broken a myth that such kind of assignments are limited to metros and tier one cities and can be done from there. Now, tier two to tier three cities practitioners can also approach through networking. I think the questions are over, sir, for this session. And now, on behalf of our convener, I would like to address the participants. So, on our convener is busy, so I want
Okay.
to read his message to the participants. Today's session is centered on the theme that is rapidly transforming the professional services ecosystem, the global outsourcing landscape opportunities for Indian professionals in UK and beyond. The outsourcing model has evolved significantly over the years, and as a global business strive for efficiency, compliance, and innovation. India continues to be recognized as a trusted hub for the high quality professional services. The United Kingdom, in particularly, remains a mature and high potential destination where Indian chartered accountants have already carved out a strong presence. However, the landscape today is not limited to the UK alone. New markets, new service lines, and new models of delivery are emerging, creating exciting avenues for Indian professionals to lead, innovate, and expand. Through the Global UDAN platform, our directorate aims not merely to inform but to enable by bringing market intelligence, skill based learning opportunities, and direct engagement with global industry practitioners. The idea is very simple, to transfer aspiration into access and potential into global market. I would also like to highlight some of the recent and impactful initiatives undertaken by the Directorate, reinforcing their commitment to strengthening global outreach. First, the launch of the online certificate courses on overseas outsourcing services for the UK, empowering members with domain expertise in finance, accounting, and compliance practices specific to the UK market. The enthusiastic response of the first batch has led to the announcement of the second batch starting shortly. Secondly, the ongoing online certificate courses on overseas outsourcing services for the US, which continues to equip members with hands-on knowledge of US accounting frameworks, ensuring our professionals remain globally competitive. The recently conducted second residential refresher course for the US outsourcing course participants at the Center of Excellence Hyderabad was a fully immersive program that allowed members to engage, collaborate, and learn from experts and peers. ICI Global Week 2025, spanning 7 global regions, successfully spotlighted the professional prowess of Indian chartered accountants and opened new avenues of collaboration and mobility. The ITEC training program, on the other hand, in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs, provides a unique platform for global participants to witness India's accounting ecosystem firsthand. Another foreign language courses in Spanish, German, Japanese, French, and business English has equipped members to operate confidently in multicultural environments. And most significantly, the launch of Accounting Outsourcing Portal, a visionary digital platform connecting Indian members with international firms and cross-border professional opportunities, demonstrating a resolve to build structured pathway for global engagement. These initiatives are not standalone activities. They are part of larger cohesive mission to prepare and position Indian chartered accountants as a global leaders of trust, value, and professional excellence. Sir, these are the programs and initiatives which have been started by our institute. Uh, your, I thank you for your deliberation. Sir, two, three more questions have come.
Please.
If you allow, we can take it. To begin building a UK outsourcing practice, what could be the first actionable step apart from networking? Are there any platforms where businesses post outsourcing requirements?
Okay, so that question I think we was being asked
Yeah.
earlier. So
Hmm.
the first thing, as a practicing professional, if we are keen to get into the UK, what I personally suggest is that you should have a thought process as to what we can deliver, because there might be multiple requirements from multiple clients, but we cannot take up every single inquiry that comes in place. So either we start with some just bookkeeping, we start with some R2R, sorry, AR or AP. So what could be the core competency considering our capability, our team size, our data security? These all things are fundamentally required to be addressed at the first level itself before approaching a client, because client might have a multiple requirement, but if we are not capable enough and for just to grab that opportunity we will just sign the agreement, later
Hmm.
on we will have to face a lot of challenges. So we should be equipped ourselves first, make sure that we are able to deliver this considering all the legal things and all the sensitive matters, because it is being delivered from another country. We have to be extra careful in handling the data, handling the exercise, a lot of things, because one backfire could spoil the entire initiative. So first, let us be capable ourselves. Let us think over what can be done from our end. Let's build a core competency, then build a client and build a client relationship. Later on, we can add competencies to that.
Okay. So, sir, directly approaching a foreign client, are there any avenues in from Indian firms also from where we can get some such audits, yeah, such assignments?
Uh, I
That
mean,
I think that also based on networking and your
exactly. Then these kind of congress of accountants, these kind of events can be very much helpful. And these kind of events happen in other countries also. If we can pay a visit over there, we can meet a lot of people. And LinkedIn is a fantastic platform to get into a lot of networking with fellow professionals across different countries. So most of the since this is being asked multiple times, like how do you get a first client in the UK or any other country? Uh, the more prospective way to get a client could be from an accounting firm in the UK, because they may not be able to handle the volume, they might not be able to have the competent people. So getting in contact with professional members is not at all considered not doable according to the regulations of ICA. So you can always network with the fellow professionals in other countries, have a good rapport with them. They will definitely, you cannot just go and ask them, can you give me some work? That doesn't work. But build a rapport, you present some papers, you present some articles in the for social media, which is more relevant to that country. That gives an eyesight of the prospective client, then that will work away.
Okay. Sir, are there any opportunities in a cross-border transaction like FEMA acts and all? Are there any corresponding acts there also which we could study before going into for cross-border transaction? Like if any UK firm is having its subsidiary or any related firm in India, the type of transactions which we can uh, assignments or any kind of transactions which we can get as an future assignment like that.
So cross-border transaction, if one of the cross-border country is India, we can very well do that. Forms under the transaction advisory services. So FEMA regulations will always come into play. That is not an outsourced exercise. That is a something that we do in India itself.
In India itself. Yeah. Sir, any government policies there, any government portal from where we could get any government policies for such development of such like we have a MSME and all policies here. So any kind of policies there where government is promoting the companies or small firms or medium firms.
Likewise in the UK.
Likewise
Okay.
in
Uh, there will definitely be some kind of initiative because this relaxation given by the government on this micro small entities that is being governed by the UK HMRC. HMRC is towards the taxation. There is a financial reporting guideline. The finance ministry takes care of that. So definitely, but those bodies will give this SME based relaxations, SME based what do you whatever incentives and things that are handled by the finance ministry. Just like in India, it's being done in the UK.
think this question is asked because as our client, any of our client wants to set up a business or having any business connection in UK, so they want such kind of information, and we have to make project reports and other things for based on those policies. So that question is asked. So any there are any specific portal like sir?
See, HMRC itself gives a lot of clarity into the this particular area, like UK finance, taxation, all these things, and that website itself gives link to a lot of other portals of the UK government. So in particular, if you are, I mean, like going to do a project report or something, then we have to get out to the what all are the government websites or everything coming under .uk is their government website. So that relevant particular portal we have to access.
Okay, sir.
And we will be able to get it more from the Google or any AI tool. We will be able to understand which are the government portals because every industry has a different ministry over there. So we'll be able to get the portal address. We can log in and get the latest notifications, guidelines, all this.
I think the questions are over, sir. Any particular area or any additional point you want to throw, you want to discuss here, and anything you can guide us further for in this
Okay.
series.
So we basically discussed about the UK and particularly towards the UK SME and opportunities for outsourcing. Now, so the most of the questions are being asked are how do we get a prospective client? So there is no simple one-liner solution for that. Okay, so that basically comes out of our networking, and networking. Uh, and apart from that, and the most important thing is that the opportunities might be lucrative. The opportunities in terms of a paycheck will be higher compared to the practice that is being done in India. But very much consideration must be given towards the data security. So that is basically the next level of internal control. So things are all getting digitized. The AI is coming into place. So next level of auditing and next level of internal controls will be completely handled digitally. And so any digital traces, digital forensic, all these things come into play. So we should be extra careful about handling the data, and the data infrastructure should be invested considerably before taking up any overseas assignments.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your elaborative and very informative session, sir. Uh, No more questions, sir. Okay, I would like to thank you on behalf of ICA and all our participants. Sir, if anyone wants to connect with you, they are asking for your email ID or any contact.
Yeah, definitely. I'll share my number in the WhatsApp group and email ID in the WhatsApp group. Anyone can contact.
Okay, sir. I would like to thank you on behalf of ICI. That was a great presentation, and it will also help our professional brothers to sharpen their edges and add another feather feather to the practice. Now I would like to conclude the session. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you, ICI. Thank you, the participants.